What's going on, guys? We have some exciting news that took place in the market this week. Some very big movements to the downside. And in today's video, I just want to kind of cover what happened throughout the week. We're going to look through the market overall. As you can see, this Friday was really bad, down a decent amount. We'll look through some big tech stocks, some of the positions on my watch list, and then I'll go through kind of what my next moves are. So, starting with the main thing. Market tanked on Friday. So we were having, at least, it depends. Some stocks were having a decent week. A lot of the strength earlier in the week was driven by AMD, and AMD coming out with the partnership with OpenAI. So that helped drive a lot of momentum. But this Friday, basically what came out was trade tensions rising between US and China, with Trump tweeting some stuff out about that and potentially having extremely high tariffs. So this caused basically a scare in the market, and you can see it on the day. Like, if we take a look at the S&P, down 2.7% in the day, and some of the hits on different stocks were brutal. Like Meta, as we can see here, down 3.8%. And PayPal, one of my favorite stocks, down a whopping 7.8%. Now, to be fair with PayPal was actually moving pretty great throughout the week. This is one of my personal holdings, but it was actually finally starting to move pretty good throughout the week. And then, of course, as always with PayPal, this stock is not allowed to move higher without getting it pulled right back down. But yeah, still up 0.85% on the week, but it was much higher earlier in the week. I don't know if it touched 77, but it was just about to hit that. Yeah, it looks like it did touch into the 77 range, and now it's already back. And if this market sentiment stays this way, I wouldn't be surprised if it was back down to the mid-60s. I doubt it'll get below that 60 line, but if it does, I will be buying a lot more for sure. We even looked at some of the big tech. Let's take a look at Meta, another one of the positions I hold. We can see on the week down 3.8 or 0.74%, on the week 3.85%. Now, prior to this, it was already getting hit quite a bit. But anyways, my basic thought process on this is we already knew about these trade tensions, and I think really the market was just looking for any excuse to have a pullback, because the market has been red hot for the last couple of months. Valuations have been getting pushed up fairly high for a lot of positions, so I think the market was just looking for any way to pull back. As for how long it lasts, it really could be anything. It's honestly anyone's guess. This could maybe continue into year end, or it could have a reversal. I think it really does depend on how the earnings outlook comes in. For example, for PayPal, depending on how their earnings are on Q3, and with PayPal finally announcing kind of more of that ad side that they're doing with small businesses, if they have any commentary around that is going to drive up analyst estimates, that we can still see that stock run. And we already kind of saw that earlier in the week and a little bit of last week when they did announce that they were doing the ads with the small businesses, as well as just getting pulled up because of the OpenAI AMD thing that was just kind of pulling the market up in general. We saw how fast the stock started to move. So I think if they do have any commentary on that, it could drive the stock higher for earnings. I'm not expecting earnings to be anything amazing. It's not like I expect them to miss, but I expect them to maybe come in line, maybe a slight beat. But I'm not expecting any blowout quarter or anything like that. I don't think a lot of these initiatives they have in place will take effect till probably we'll see it start taking effect at sometime in next year. So Q2 maybe, Q1 or Q2 of next year. But with that being said, as always, it's always the outlook. The market's forward looking, so if they give really good outlook, then that could help drive it. But you always got to take that with a grain of salt, especially with Alex Chris. He tends to veer on the more cautious side for his outlook. His under promise, over deliver is what he tends to do a lot. So I wouldn't 100% count on that. Now, as for me, what I'm currently doing, I'm not buying any heavier than I've been buying. I usually do about $300 a week, or $300 a week is what I currently do. And I still did the same 300 I personally just picked up more PayPal. For me, in my positions I've been holding, I find it to be the best risk reward in my portfolio right now. So I've just been pretty much DCAing my position for a while now. Now, I will start to go more heavy if we do start continuing to get more of this market sentiment going negative. And I'll be keeping an eye on a few stocks. One, if PayPal goes any lower, obviously. If it does touch that low 60s, then obviously I'll be buying heavier on that. But another one that I've been keeping my eyes on that I don't currently own, but I'd like to own, is Dutch Bros. I've looked a lot at the company. I do have a video on my channel where I kind of broke down an analysis I had and kind of some projections I was expecting. Currently, I'd like that price to get down a little lower before I enter a position. I think at around $40 a share is where I had it set at, to where I'll start taking another look at it. So far, at least some of the good things about the negative market sentiment is it is starting to pull it down and pull down that valuation. So when it starts approaching that $40 range again, I'll start rerunning my numbers, see what I think, see where I want to enter in, and if I do. So that's one I'm keeping an eye out. I don't carry a lot of options, call options. However, I do have some on PayPal. I have $100 calls out for March 20th. I have a $100 call for, I believe it was June. And then I have a 125 call for January 27th. So, in terms of those, I was thinking of rolling out farther my March call, because currently I'm up about, I want to say about 200% on that March call. So I was thinking of rolling that out farther. But I think for now, I'm okay just holding it. Like I said, I do think not this quarter coming up, but the next one after that in January, I think PayPal will probably start to see some of the effects and of their initiatives, or will at least get more commentary on how that's going to hit more of the margins and growth rate, which I think the market's going to like, and it's going to run it up. And obviously, like with all options, it's a risk, but I think I'm okay just holding that one right now. And as for my other two options, the June 26 $100 call and the 125 27, I'm fine just holding those for now. I don't feel any need to cash them at the moment. It's still got plenty of time to run on there, so that's currently my positioning and my thought process on it. Now, I just kind of wanted to get out this video, and also just for anyone who is newer to the market, just make sure you don't panic in situations like this. This is where it is very important to focus on the fundamentals of the companies and the underlying valuations, because you need to already have in your head what a good value is for the stock. So whenever it falls below that, you know you can buy more, and you don't accidentally panic sell at the worst moments. For me personally, I've been investing for about like 5-ish years now, coming up on 6 maybe. And every time my portfolio, these times where the market's downtrending, these are when a lot of my big winners and gainers were really made. And every time it kind of slingshotted my portfolio to new all-time highs every single time without fail. So don't look at these down cycles as something to be fearful of. Look at them as an opportunity, and just make sure you already have that knowledge base and you already have all the foundation built up so you can take advantage of this opportunity, so that when you get through this bear market and when the bull market comes back and the market sentiment does start to turn, you will profit from it. Because if you wait for the coast to be clear, a lot of these stocks are already going to start moving much higher. Like you saw with PayPal, even though even though it went down a lot on Friday, it's still up in the week. But it kind of just gave you a little taste of how much momentum something that's super undervalued can get, and how fast the moves can be. Because PayPal went from, if we back it up on the 1 month, you can see how explosive kind of like the upside was on it, where it was in like that 68, 69 range, and then out of nowhere, within like about a week, jumping to around like the 77 range. So just realize these moves do happen quick. and you don't want to be caught offside, so just make sure you're doing your fundamental analysis. Also, I do run a bookkeeping business, so for anybody who's running their own company, needs help with their bookkeeping or anything, link's going to be down in the description as always. So you can go ahead and message me on there if you need anything, need any help with that, and we'll try to get it settled.